going? Welcome to another episode. Last episode we did door bars and intrusion bars. That came out really well. Happy with where we're at. We're just going to continue working on the roll cage by adding gussets and just finishing up any remaining welds. Gussets sound easy, but it is time consuming. I mean, anything to do with steel is really time consuming. But we're going to be adding some pie gussets in the door bars, I should say. So we're going to do one here, two on the other side to match, and then one there and one there. So 6 total to start, and then we'll probably do gussets up in the pillar here. So I'm just going to tie everything together, get this cage licked off so we can move on to bigger, better things like paint and engine and body, all the fun stuff, and the expensive part too. Anyway, first thing I did was made my cardboard template, as always. This gives you a good idea of what your measurements are going to be and what it's going to look like. So you can see, just kind of slide that in there. You can kind of get the idea, right? So once I flare that hole, I think it'll look good. Weld everything out, give it a tempered look. So yeah, bada boom, bada bing, 6 of them all over. Tying the cage together. So speaking of gussets, I want to flare the holes. There's multiple tools out there on the market that can cut the hole and flare it for you. But I'm stubborn and like to do things the hard way, so I made my own flaring tool. So using stuff I found around the shop. An old clamp here, chunk of tube, 1 3/4 DOM, 120 wall. I just capped both of them off, capped one end and put another chunk of steel down here. So all this is a 3/4 inch extension. So you can see I kind of cut the bottom of it off, and I'm going to be using this part of the extension to do my flaring. So I ran through it on one hole here on a chunk of scrap I had laying around, and it seems to give the look I want. So hopefully it'll work good on the thicker material, but I guess you guys will see that. Anyway, I'm gonna get cutting these gussets and finishing up this cage. Actually pretty smooth. It's going to take a bit of time to do the remaining 5, but I mean, my template worked out good, going from cardboard to steel, you can see. So my copes on the end were a little shy, so that's the only thing I'll have to revise on the next 5. But my homemade flaring tool works pretty good, actually. Might not be as perfect as some of the products you can buy online, but I mean, just saved myself, I don't know, $200-300, so it's a little off-centered, so I just had to put some lines to keep it all lined up. But other than that, it works pretty good. Works better when the steel's warm, so as soon as I was done grinding, I threw it in there, so worked out good. You can see how it fits. Looks pretty sleek. So just gonna repeat the process. I need 5 more of these guys, so I'm gonna whip through that, get 5 more cut, and then we're just gonna fit them all in there. So I got my 5 gussets laid out. kind of mirror the image on both. You know, lay one out here, flip it over, lay that one out. That way I'm not having to do as many cuts and I don't have so much scrap. So I'm just gonna run through that with a zip cut. I was gonna do it on my shear, but the size of the material is the issue. And then could do it with a plasma as well, but then it's just more cleaning. So it's kind of a stinky job, but just run through it on the zip cut and get these blasted off. There it is. 4 gussets. The other 2 are over there. Let my drill cool off and charge up the battery, because that was excruciating to say the least. Drilling the holes is the worst part, but like, look at that hole, it's perfect. Really happy with that little tool I managed to whip up. So we're just going to be placing these in the car now. Basically like I did with the cardboard template, I just kind of place it in there, and then I'm going to clamp it so I can get these, excuse me, there we go. Clamp it so I can close the gap along the edges. But other than that, it's just tacking it all in, and then I'm going to weld it out. I'm going to weld it out in stages, kind of staggering the heat. One thing you do want to make sure you do is welding the inside of these joints out before you put your cap on, and then I would finish out the joint in the same weld as the gusset. So I would, you know, weld all that section out and then leave this so you could do all one pass from the tube up there onto here. So just gonna probably time lapse this. Don't want to bore you guys too much, so here we go. We're throwing gussets in. Alright, so you guys saw me put 2 of those gussets in. Takes a little bit of effort. I ended up clamping them and then hammering some of the seams a little bit tighter. While I was in there, I just welded out the back because it's hard to get in there, so you can see it all kind of looks the same. So good news there. I'm just gonna go ahead and blast out all these remaining joints, the door sill here too, everything, weld them up top. And then that's pretty much it for the pie gussets anyway, and then probably start laying out the 8-pillar gussets. So probably do a little time lapse and get these gussets welded up. What's up? So it's another day. This morning I just came into the shop and finished up a little bit of welding that needed to be done. A bit of welds on the door bars, and then I added gussets to the main hoop. You can see them there. And then I added some welds out down there by the door bars. So everything's all tied together. So inside the car is pretty much done. I just want to do gussets on these 8-pillars, and then I'll make a decision if I'm going to add any more tube or not. But I want to get this cage done today, so I'm going to power through it and working on those 8-pillar gussets right now. So lay those out with cardboard as I always do. I'm going to have to clean all this window sealer, seam sealer out. Otherwise it's going to get hella smoky, so just do some cleaning, a bit of layout, and get these gussets made up. no easy way of saying this. Like, that was brutal. Absolutely brutal. It was really gross. There's little like black rubbery dust everywhere. And the smoke too is just nasty, nasty smell. But regardless, it had to be done. Even putting a new window in, I'm going to have to remove the rest of it. So, get to look forward to that. But anyway, I'm going to lay out this gusset using my cardboard. Lay it out, see what the holes look like, and then make them out of steel. So, a little time lapse of that. Well, there she is. Something like that. So I want to put holes in this one, but I'd like to flare them. And just for reference, so I can show you guys what I'm talking about, like the other flares I have are roughly about this size, and you can see like it's pretty much going to eat up all the material. So I'm going to make another little flaring tool, and I'll run through exactly how I'm going to do that. So you can see my extension. Excuse my hands here. Extension there. You can see that machined part of the extension. That's what I'm going to use to be flaring my new holes. This thing's obviously been beat to hell anyway, so it's not even usable. Might as well try to make another flaring tool. So I'm going to cut it somewhere around there, and then just clean up this edge so it's nice and square, and then that's gonna sit like yay. And this is a chunk of DOM. I think this is 1-inch DOM. It's a pretty thin wall, but all we need to do is just press. So you can see how it slides over, and then it stops right on the machined part of the extension. So that's gonna be what's actually making the little imprint, the dimpled eye, I guess you could say. So my flare, that means my flare is going to be about that size, right? So if you're looking on my template, the holes are going to be perfect. So I'm just going to whip up another tool. It's time consuming, but save myself some money. I did look at the local hardware store in Calgary where I get my gas, and they sell a whole dimple die kit for like, I think it's like roughly $200, but you need a press, and then they have like one that cuts the holes and flares it for you at the same time, and those are like, I think about $150 a pop. So you know, it takes a little bit of effort, but if I can save that money, I can just put that money right back into my car. So I'm gonna whip up another dimple die tool. I'm gonna be using this as the press, just forfeiting another clamp. I don't really use these anyway, so let's take a step aside and make up a little tool. Alrighty, so there's our temporary flaring tool. It's pretty ugly. I tried to put it on a normal C-clamp like my other tool I made, but I ended up over tightening it and just bending the hell out of the clamp. So but I mean, you can see our sample. It works out not bad. It's kind of ugly, but whatever. If I can get these gussets done and maybe figure out a better way of doing this. So I'm gonna cut out these gussets right there, and then I'll lay out the holes and flare them. So after a bit of trial and error, I ended up getting my piece done. Got nice flares in it, so our little homemade jobby here did the trick. It's a little ugly, I will admit, but it does what I want it to, and that's just put a little flare in. So that's my temporary flaring tool for smaller diameter hole. So you can see we got the idea here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and run through this next one. Just lay it out the exact same. Just center punch all these holes, drill them all out, and then run through my my nifty little tool here. So yeah, got some drilling to do. So there you have it. 2 gussets done. Went pretty smooth. They look sharp. So as you can see, when I was running through here, it was getting a little deformed as I was moving along. So I was just tapping it with a hammer to keep it as straight as possible. But you can kind of see the action that I was going for. So it worked out pretty good. When I was drilling the holes, just used a chunk of the extension. The extension that I used as a die, I guess you could say. So those worked out good. They're done. Done with my ugly little unit over here. So yeah, these 8 pillars are all cleaned up. My tube's nice and clean. Gussets are ready. So I'm just gonna lay those in there and buzz them out. Got these fit up. GoPro's charging, so we didn't manage to capture me fitting them up, but I'm gonna do a staggered stitch now to kind of spread out the heat a bit, and then stand back and have a look at it. Looks good so far, so let's buzz this thing out. So that's pretty much a cage for you. Got the gussets done. Looking hella sick. So stoked. So got those gussets welded out, and just looking for some of the other trim pieces in my parts bay. Found some mirrors and found kind of like this cowl cover. So I'm gonna end with just pulling the doors off so I can clean up the cuts, and then probably make like little door cards and handles. And then the doors are done. Prime those, put them back on, and then just gotta get the body done. So next episode will probably just be prepping for paint and finishing up the doors. So thanks for watching. That's pretty much my whole cage build, wrapped into 3 episodes or 4 episodes, whatever it is. So just want to say thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I will keep you updated with progress as it comes along. But yeah, looking sick. Can't wait till this thing's done. Alrighty, until then, see you guys later.